Hey everybody, and welcome to our very first virtual baby and toddler workshop. My name's Jess Fabian, and I have the honour of being the branch manager here in SA. And I am joined by some incredible team leaders today. And we're so excited because we get to revisit our time as mums of young children again with you guys today. So thanks for joining, and also thanks to those of you who are watching our recording. Now, we know it's not the easiest time when you are a new mum or you might be expecting a baby, or maybe you've already got a baby and maybe toddlers, and we want to make your life easier. So that's what this workshop's all about. Let's get straight into it, and we're going to hear some great tips today about how we can do that with our Thermomix. I'm going to fly over to Jackie first. Here we go, Jackie
Hey,
Young.
and I'm Jackie Young. I'm a team leader down in Aldinga Beach. We trade as Thermador. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about babies and toddlers and feeding them. It's one of those little essentials that at times when you're looking at them, you're thinking, oh, not again. But anyway, so hi to all the grandparents and all those other people that are there as support. You can tell from my accent, I'm not from around here. Yorkshire. We don't like to have be parted with our money, so there'll be a few money saving tips along the way. And really, it's all about for me using the Thermomix at TM7, TM6, if we've got any owners on there, to demonstrate how it can make life easier for you. You don't need a whole load of stuff when you've got a baby. You just don't. What you need to do is just concentrate on one or two little items that's going to make your life so much easier right the way through. And I'm going to talk to you today about sterilizing and sterilizing in the Thermomix. Now, the thing that I love about the Thermomix is, as against a standalone sterilizer, which you use for 3 or 6 months and then you maybe sell at a garage sale for a pittance of the price or whatever, your Thermomix will keep going. And it'll keep you going, and it'll keep you going through toddler stage, through going to kindy stage, through pack-ups, through right the way through to, sending them off with frozen meals to university. So, this is why I love it. I'm going to talk first about sterilizing because that's your first step. Now, look, whether you are breastfeeding or whether you are bottle feeding or whatever, you still to a certain extent going to need to sterilize. If you're intending to breastfeed solely, it may be that somewhere along the way you maybe get a little bit sore or whatever, and then pumping is the option, and that's the sort of thing that you are going to need to sterilize. So lots and lots of different, ideas along the way. I'll show my colours now. I used to feed, but I used to pump on the other side and freeze it, and then I would get a full night's sleep, and my then husband would get up and do the night feed, which was really, really useful. So let's talk about sterilising. What is sterilising? What is it? It's killing the bacteria and the germs. So after it's been properly cleaned, okay? And you need that for newborns, you need that for prem babies, you need that for babies of under 12 months old, for babies who maybe have had a bit of an illness or a bit of an immunity type thing. And really, whilst you can step down a little bit as toddlers, because as we all know, toddlers put everything in their mouths, it would be nice if the thing that we were asking it to put in their mouth was clean. So the Thermomix, we can use it for baby bottles, silicone teats, dummies, pacifiers, bottle rings, caps, toddler spoons, you name it, we can pop it in here, okay? The things that I would avoid is any cheap plastics which aren't really related to heat, wooden utensils, that sort of stuff. But then I would say that about all sterilizing, not just for the Thermomix. So first of all, cleaning comes first. They've got to be clean. So one of those big things is clean it first. Make sure you get rid of all the milk residue and whatever. then sterilize, because sterilizing is about getting rid of those extra germs. It's not about cleaning. Okay, so rinse your bottles after use, wash them in hot soapy water, use a bottle brush, then sterilize. And look, it doesn't replace good hygiene, but it's that final sterilization where it's not chemicals or anything else. It's a really good hot water where you know that in the end, your bottle's sterilized and cleaned. Okay, so what you need is your aroma. Da, 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 da. Now, what I would normally do is I would put the Thermomix on kettle to start off with. You'll notice that there's a weighing thing there. So then you can just put 500 grams of water in there, like that. And I would put it on kettle to start off with, and then go off and wash my bottles, okay? Because by the time I've washed them and everything else, that will be getting to a good temperature. And this is about working smarter, not harder, okay? You can put a litre in. It takes longer to boil. It depends how much, 500 grams is enough. So then what you do is you put it, now you have to use your imagination here because my youngest child is 25 and my eldest is 34. So I was a bit short of bottles, but something like that. And just, you can lay it down, but lay it on maybe one of the tops or something. So it's just, so the end is just like slightly raised so that that condensation is just moving out of the item, okay? You can put it all in there. You can put it in the steaming basket as well. You can put your pacifiers and your other little bits and pieces in there. Pop that in there, that on top, this on top like this. Pop the lid on. Don't need the tray, obviously. And then what we need to do is we will go into, once that's at 100 degrees, we'll go into steam. And what we do is we steam it for a minimum of 15 minutes. Now, if you've got the time, you might want to leave it on for 20. But minimum of 15 minutes, because the sterilization happens at 100 degrees. So if you started it from steaming from like cold water, then you would need at least 7 minutes extra, okay? Because that's how long it's going to take for 500 grams of water to heat up like that. Once it's finished, just remember a couple of little bits and pieces. Just have to remember, put it away from your face because obviously the steam's going to rise. Maybe use some tongs or something like that to take them out. Don't forget the spatula is your friend. Open that up nicely like that, okay, and take them out. Because once you're mauling them, your hands might be clean, but they're not sterilized. So it depends very much where your baby is on the immunity spectrum, how small it is, whether it was pregnant, everything, how cautious you need to be. So look, big thing for me in all of this is one less appliance. Don't need a sterilizer or whatever, unless, of course, you've got like maybe multiple births or something like that, and you've got stacks of bottles, because obviously there's only a certain amount of room in here. There's less bench clutter. We're not introducing chemicals. You can like do that while you're doing other things. And you know what? It turns off at the end of it. So even if you're doing that and then you flop down and you think, oh, it's making that noise, you can turn it off from your phone. And I say, that's got to be great. So, yeah, looking at toddler stuff, you sort of drop dummies, you reset after sickness and whatever. That's a really great idea. Yeah, and even when you're going on holiday, camping, caravanning, maybe take your thermi and then you can feed everybody and sterilize. So you don't, again, have to, take all those bits and pieces around. And it's something which is going to continue on forever. So there you go. So that's really my little bit of input there about like, the first stages, the feeding, that sort of stuff. And we're going to hand you on to Jamie now. And Jamie is going to talk all about those first little meals, rice porridge. I know it as rice porridge. Jamie, what do you know it as?
Thank you, Jackie. That was wonderful. I absolutely loved all your sterilising tips, and not even just for babies and toddlers. If you're someone who wants to make jam or stock pastes, you can do your jars in there as well. Super handy tip, especially in our new bigger Varoma. But my name is Jamie. I am in Port Lincoln in South Australia. I have two beautiful children. Brynley is 6 and Harrison is 4. So I am right in my Play-Doh era. Now, I know most parents, you're either a Play-Doh mum or you're not. I am not a slime mum. Slime does not live in this house, but Play-Doh is our friend. So I'm going to show you how we quickly make some Play-Doh using your Thermomix. I've created this recipe and imported it into my machine. Obviously, in our cookie dough, we don't have any recipes that are non-food, so you will not find Play-Doh. Just reach out to your Thermomix consultant because they're bound to have a beautiful Play-Doh recipe. So to save time, I know we're all busy. I have just in my bowl here heated up some water, some salt, and some cream of tartar. Now, if you are a mum that only wants one colour Play-Doh, you could add your food colouring in now. But some kids want lots of different colours, so I would add it at the end when you're needing it. So today, I'm now up to the step where I'm just going to add some plain flour. Obviously, for Play-Doh, we don't need to be using really expensive stuff. It is not for eating. It is food safe, but it isn't for eating. We're adding in 250 grams of flour. If I've got enough. Now you can double this as well. So you can make quite a huge batch here for not very much money. So I've got 250 grams of flour. I'm going to use coconut oil today just for something a little bit different. It'll give it a nice feel of the hands. It's not going to dry out your hands as much, and it's going to make it smell. So you're embracing all those sensory needs of kids as well. If you had some essential oils, you could add a couple of drops of those in as well, just to make it a bit interesting. If you are a glitter family, you could add glitter. I've added sequins before, but I do that at the end. So I'm going to add in 20 grams of coconut oil. But again, if you didn't want to waste some good coconut oil, and this is a liquid oil, you could just use any cheap oil. It does not matter. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to mix that for a minute, and then we'll be able to knead it. So I'm just going to turn it on 1 minute. It's going to mix on speed 4 and do that first bit for me. So while it's doing that, I just wanted to have a little quick chat about price comparisons. So when you go to Kmart or wherever you buy Play-Doh from, usually comes in those little teeny tiny tubs. Those tubs can cost anywhere between $3 and $8, depending on whether they've the Play-Doh brand or whatever comes with it. We can make our own Play-Doh here for between $1.50 and $2.50, depending on the oil and the type of colouring and stuff that you use. So, and that's per batch. So that's for 500-ish grams of Play-Doh. I've only done a tiny little bit today. But so that's a huge savings, about 80 to 90% saving your own money. I can guarantee this will last 10 times as long. The only time I ever really need to make a fresh batch of Play-Doh is if the kids have mixed stuff through it or if they've been sick. So we've had some great mum bugs this week. I know that you'll all be able to relate to that. So the kids have been camping at the bit to get outside and they've not been well, so we haven't been able to. So the old Play-Doh goes in the bin and we make a fresh new batch. So that has mixed it all for me. You can see here it's starting to mix. Now I'm going to add my colour here. Just a couple of drops of red today was the first one I grabbed out. Usually my kids are fighting over who picks the colour. So put a couple of drops in. Now again, you could use, if you didn't want to have any of these kind of colours, you could use like a beetroot powder or something like that to colour your Play-Doh. You can play with it and have some fun around it. Now what it's going to do is it's just going to knead for a minute. So it's going to go on dough mode. Simply pressing a button is going to do the hard work for me and mix that colour through. If you wanted multiple colours, don't pop the colour in until the very end. Then I would split it up into however many colours and then just manually knead the colour in. But sometimes it will stain your hands. So this is just the easiest way for me. It's easy to clean. So it's essentially doing all the hard work for me. The water was warmed, so it's mixing it beautifully. The texture of this Play-Doh is amazing. It is incredibly soft. I like to play with it more than the kids. I don't let the kids have it until it's cooled down because that's my time. I like to play with it first. It gets that sensory needs happening for me, and I find it quite calming. So it also is taste safe. So if you've got a real little one and it's your first time introducing them to Play-Doh, if they nibble on it, they're going to say it's disgusting, but it's not going to harm them. It hasn't got anything in there that they can't eat. Versus if you buy it from the shop, we don't necessarily know what's in it. We don't know where it's been made. You can control it here. So our beautiful Play-Doh is done. Now I'm just going to turn off my machine because I need a bit more bench space. I'm going to unplug it. So I'm going to turn this upside down. Just a minute. So it hasn't even gone very red. You could make it brighter if you want more of a pink. I want to scrape down the sides of my bowl, get all the goodness in there, and it's going to make it easier to clean. I'm going to just unplug and move my TM7. Lucky me, I have another one I can show you with for the next steps. But just so you can see this beautiful dough mat. Now, this lovely dough mat has had a little bit of a glow up. If you have one of these at home, you'll notice that they aren't on our mix shop anymore. That's because we've got new ones. Mine hasn't arrived yet, being in Port Lincoln. We have new ones that are going to be our current host reward. So if you're wanting to host a demo to get a dough mat, please reach out to your consultant because we would love to help you. It is a little bit bigger. It has some beautiful measurements on it. I am very excited to get mine. Now, what you'll see that I'm doing here is I've turned my bowl upside down and I have got my spatula here has a little hole built into it now. That just helps me to release the dough versus having to get my fingers in there trying to get all the little bits and pieces. So my Play-Doh has now come out. There's still a little bit left in there, but what we can do is our trick. So I just simply swap my bowls over, put my lid back on, and I'm going to find in my modes, I'm looking for turbo. And I'm just going to turbo it for 2 seconds times 2. Okay, so what that will have done is flicked majority of that dough up and around the sides. So I can now just go in with my spatula and I can swipe around the entire bowl and scoop out majority of the rest of my dough. So that will then just drop down there, get as much out as we need to, and then I can go back onto pre-clean mode, which means that it will flick the dough mode will flick the rest of that dough off, so I don't have to scrub the bowl, versus when you are at buying or making it manually, you have got lots of dishes and lots of bits and pieces that you're having to scrub. So this Play-Doh is absolutely beautiful. I wish you could feel the texture. You could add more oil if you have made it and it feels a little bit dry. Add some more oil. Some people leave it in the fridge. I do not put mine in the fridge. I don't think it needs it. I just have it in an airtight container and the kids just come and grab it when they need to. But that is absolutely beautiful. Smells very, very nice with the coconut oil. It's a little bit, you know how you've got that salty smell normally? It smells much nicer. So that is my beautiful Play-Doh. For the kids when they get home today, they can play with that. So huge money saving. It has no nasties in it. You can just make that as you need. It will last a really long time. It is incredible. So that is a huge, huge money saver and sanity saver. You know, at school holidays and the kids are driving you nuts, whip up some Play-Doh. I can guarantee they will be playing with that for a really long time. So what I'm going to jump into next, being mum's multitasking. Both my babies were breastfed, My son I lost my breast milk at 12 weeks. I got COVID and took my milk. So we tried to get it back, but we couldn't. So I have done the bottles, I have done all the different types of feeding, and I know how hard it can be. And I know how hard it can be with those first foods. It's scary. We don't necessarily know what we're doing. We're all winging it, all in the middle of mum life, and we try and keep it real. But one thing that we discovered early on was making our own baby rice cereal. So ignore my notes because I wasn't well prepared at remembering this. You can use, what have we got here? It costs you to make it at home 20 cents per 100 grams, or if you buy the pre-made baby cereal, it's $3.45 per 100 grams. So if you were to buy 2 kilo, $2 bag of rice, you can make $40 worth of baby rice cereal. That is an insane saving. You know exactly what's in it. There's nothing else added. You could use organic rice if you wanted to. That would still work. If that's something that you feel passionate about, you could do that. But I'm just going to quickly show you how we can make it super, super easy. I'm going to go back to my manual mode here. I'm going to take off my lid. Then I'm going to bring up my scales. And for today, I don't have little babies at home anymore, so I'm just purely for showing you this. I'm only going to do 100 grams of rice here. It's going to come up in 1 gram increments. That'll do. It's about 90 grams. I'm going to turn this into some rice flour now. So I'm going to go for 1 minute, clicking on the time and just on my buttons down the bottom here. And I'm going to go to speed 10 for a minute. And that is going to mill my rice for me. It's going to be a little bit loud, but Zoom will probably block out the sound.
Isn't that incredible that we can mill pretty much anything we want to with the Thermomix? And that savings was just phenomenal. I cannot believe that. Incredible. So $40 worth of rice cereal made for just $2 with our Thermomix. Incredible. I wish I had one when my kids were little. Now, I'll just talk for another few seconds while Jamie's milling, because in her kitchen, she'll be hearing a very powerful sound as it mills that rice into rice flour. But imagine what else you can mill. So I love milling spices to add to my hot cross buns and things like that. That is delicious as well. You can even mill nutmeg, whole nutmeg, cloves, coriander seeds, anything like that. And cinnamon quills, and you can make beautiful spices to add to your foods. As I said, hot cross buns or anything else with spices in there in your doughs. Maybe even you can make hot cross bun Play-Doh, Jamie.
You absolutely could. Thank you, Jess, for jumping in because I couldn't hear a thing over the
Yeah,
milk.
I know.
I
Very
could see
powerful.
it coming out, but you can see here that is now plain rice flour. That is as fine as sand. So that was just a minute, 100 grams. And knowing when you're first feeding your little ones, they're not going to eat a lot. They're only going to need a couple of spoons. They've got those tiny tummies that haven't grown yet, so they don't need much. But for this, we're going to just add in a tiny little bit of water today. So I'm going to do, I don't know, about 250 grams or whatever I've got here. Then what I'm going to do is I could be changing bulbs. So I'm going to turn my lid on. I'm going to get that heating. Now, what I know is you could do this, mix through some breast milk or something at the end if you needed to get the nutrients in. I'm just going to do for 5 minutes here, and I'm only going to go to 40 degrees. So I could start at 37 degrees, or I could go to 40, and I'm just going to go to speed 1 and press play. So now I've got 5 minutes that I can go change bulbs. I could be washing dishes, doing all the other 65,000 jobs that we need to do. This is now going to heat and cook up our baby porridge for us. You could, because it will do the temperature for us at 40 degrees, we know that if you're adding breast milk in, it is not going to be ruining the milk. We know that we shouldn't be heating it directly. We shouldn't be heating it over certain temperatures because that is going to affect the quality of your beautiful milk that you've made. So 40 degrees is perfect. We can keep an eye on that. We can walk away. We can be doing things. We're not having to do the skin check. and then, oh no, it's too cold, too hot, we have to put it back in the fridge for 5 minutes. We got enough in this brain as is with a newborn. So when you are ready to do that with your solids, you could then put through some breast milk. You can, going back to what Jackie was talking about with the sterilizer, you could be also warming your breast milk there. If you've got breast milk frozen into little bags, you can either put a water bath in and put this on kettle mode and warm it that way. Obviously, we're not going to mix it straight in the water. We're going to keep it in the steaming basket or whatever we need to so that it gently warms it. We don't want to use that direct heat and ruin the milk. So there are so many different things that we can do with this for helping us with our mum brain when we're trying to juggle all of the things. But the fact, this is a huge, huge savings. So, yeah, 40 degrees. We don't want to go higher. We roughly, if you are heating breast milk from the fridge, and it would be the same with formula, you could have your water boiled, ready to go here, and then let it cool to the perfect temperature as well. You'll see there's a little button above 40 there that's going to tell me when it's reached that perfect temperature. So you could warm milk ready to go for your sterilised bottles. Everything takes the stress out. No one's having to panic if it's too hot. It's going to be perfect every time. So just a few little things that we can do. I don't know if anyone else has any tips that they've used.
Fantastic, Jamie.
That's essentially it from me today. I can show you at the end what it looks like when it comes out. But basically, it's going to be perfect. You could then blitz it again if you wanted to make it even finer, but it's going to be lump-free, perfect for bubs, good to go.
I love that. And you've showcased so many different features of the Thermomix. Thanks for showing us that. And we will look at some other recipes we have in our recipe platform in a moment. But for now, I think we're going to jump over to Morgan, aren't we?
Beautiful.
Some more cooking. Thanks so much, Jamie.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Very good. Enjoy that Play-Doh and
I will
figure out what to do with your rice porridge.
I'll turn it into something, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Or something, we'll make it into something.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for jumping on.
No worries.
How amazing. Thanks, Jamie and Jackie. And what I'm going to show you today is using all the different layers of cooking with your Thermomix. And what you're going to see that I make, you can also pop into Jamie's beautiful rice cereal as well. If, when your baby gets a little bit older and you want to start introducing different flavors of foods. But for now, I better introduce myself. I'm Morgan McDonald. I am a team leader and consultant based in Cummins, South Australia. So today I am, as I said, showing you the next stage of feeding your bubs. What you will see, I have pre-recorded this because I did have some ingredients that really needed to be used up. And I knew this workshop was coming up and I feel absolutely honoured to show you. So I am a busy mum of 3 beautiful kids. I've got a 16-year-old, 13-year-old and a 6-year-old. So it has been a little while since I did baby food, but I would love to share with you today this little snippet of video, and let's share sound, share screen, and let's get into it. Can you see that okay?
Sure can.
Beautiful, and hopefully you can hear it. Give me a thumbs up. So what I'm going to show you today is all the different layers, utilising all of them, your steaming basket and your Varoma, preparing your baby's first lot of solids, okay? So what I'm going to show you today is I've got some apple peeled and cut, I've got sweet potato, and I've also got some pumpkin, okay? So the pumpkin's in the Varoma. You could do anything you like. You could do potatoes. This here is baking paper that I've just wet and wrung out. And I'm going to sit that in the Varoma, the top tray, okay? And then I'm going to pop the apple up on the top steaming level. Okay, so throwing it all in. Now, my firstborn son had really severe eczema allergies, asthma and eczema to the point his skin looked burnt and he was anaphylactic to dairy. In all the research that I did back in those days, one of the great first foods solid foods to start your baby on is pears, and sweet potato is another really good one. They're low in salicylates. So yeah, just food for thought if your child has any eczema skin condition. So there's our apple. Okay, so we're going to sit that on top of the pumpkin, and then we pop our lid on there. Now in the steaming basket, I'm going to have my chunks of sweet potato. Now remember, you could do whatever you like, whatever you have to use. So there's our sweet potato. Might have done a little bit much. It's not wanting to shut. Hopefully it will. All right, now we'll go over to the beautiful TM7, and I am going to put some water in. Just trying to get my angles. Okay, we're not doing very well with that, are we? Here we go, let's try this. Sorry, guys. All right. That's about as good as our angles are going to get today. So we're using manual mode on our TM7 to do this, okay? So I'm just going to take you to the screen. Let's just go manual mode, and we can get our scales up. And we just want some water in our bowl, which is currently empty. So we'll sit our bowl back in the base, tear our scales, and we want about 1 litre of water in there, okay? Just remember to always make sure your blades are locked in place before pouring any liquid in, okay? Really, really super duper important. So we've got about 857 grams, and that's okay. All right, and then in goes our simmering basket, and then we pop the lid on. Okay, so we sit our lid on top. You don't need your lid cap for this, but then on top, you're going to pop your varoma and your trays. Okay, all like so. So we're utilising all those layers. Now what we're going to do, again, go back on our screen, click on the little blade icon to get all our modes, and we're going to use steaming, okay? And we're going to start, let's do 10 minutes. We can always start at 10 minutes, and then our Thermomix is going to beep at us. We can come and check, because obviously you want your vegetables just nice and steamed, so nice and soft, and then once they're all cooked, we can pop it in the bowl and blitz them for a puree. All we need to do though is hit play. Okay, and whilst that is doing that, you can be off feeding your baby, doing a little bit of housework. So this is a great way, utilising all the different layers and getting your time back for the more important things. Busy mum life, right? Another thing I just want to mention is by using all of these layers and utilising your Thermomix to do your baby foods, this machine uses less electricity than your household kettle or stovetop. So again, you're saving money in the home by using your Thermomix, and yeah, so that's another amazing thing I like to tell everybody. Once that's all cooked away, I'll come back and I'll show you how we can store the foods. All right, so I checked all of our veg and apple at the top after the 10 minutes, and they were still not cooked. So I've put it on for another 10 minutes. And now we're just going to have a little look at how they're all going. So in here, we've got our sweet potato. Remember, the steam's hot, so don't burn yourself. That's feeling pretty good. Alrighty, and then we'll lift this up. Don't burn yourself. Oh, apples are feeling pretty good too. Amazing. And let's check the pumpkin underneath. All feeling good. So that all cooked in 20 minutes. I was not having to worry about the water boiling over on the stove. If you get distracted with your kids, your Thermomix is going to stop. It's not going to boil over. It is seriously a sanity saver for us busy mums. So that's all done. To remove our simmering basket, you get your spatula that comes with your TM7 and it acts as a handle. See that steam? It's very hot. Now, when you go to puree this in your bowl, again, multi-purpose, simply tip out your hot water, pop that back on the base of your machine. Now, I'm going to just, pretty strong hand. Now, it's completely up to you if you want to puree all of this separately or combine them, totally your choice. For the sake of this demonstration, I am going to do both the sweet potato and the apple together. And my little nephew Bobby can enjoy this. Again, this is super hot and the baking paper is breaking. Bugger. All right. Very hot. So I've got a bit of juice in the baking paper. I probably might use tongs or here we go, egg flip might do the trick. And I'm just going to bring the bowl over so I don't make a massive mess everywhere. All right, so that all just goes in. Okay, so we've got our sweet potato and our apple in there. Now, because we've used that baking paper up the top, it's contained some of the juices. So we'll keep that and we'll blitz this together, see what it's looking like. And if we need a little bit of liquid in there, we can use some of the juices from the apple. Okay, so I'll just pop this out of the way. Because we're doing manual, again, we come back to the screen. We're not cooking anymore. So we go out of that and let's go into manual mode. And we are just going to do, let's go, seconds. We're just going to go, say, 5 seconds, speed 4, and see what that's going to look like after that amount of time. See, our lights are flashing red. It means the bowl contents is hot, but because of our insulated covering on the TM7, this is really great. The kids can touch it and they are not going to burn themselves, all right? Another really great feature of the 7. All right, we're not quite done there. I'm just going to give that a little scrape. I'll show you how I'm scraping it around. It's pretty much pureed, but I reckon I'm going to add a little bit of that juice in there, and that's just going to mix it a little bit better, okay? So sit that back on the base and get our apple juice, pour a bit of that in, and away we go again. So again, I'm just going to do, I'm going to go speed 5 this time. And I'm going to go rogue. I'm not going to set the timer because I'm standing at it. 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Let's see what that looks like. All right. There's our beautiful baby food. And again, if you've had previous models, you will notice the bowl might feel a little bit heavier, but you'll see I'm holding it here. And you can hold it on the bowl as well because remember, it's not going to get hot. There we go. Look at that. So I've left that a little with a few chunks. If you want to get it even more like really pureed, of course, you just give that another blitz. Everyone's different. Depends how you would like to feed your baby and what texture you would like them to have. But for the sake of this, I reckon my nephew will be pretty stoked with that texture. And then I'll show you how we can store them. So I like to use whatever you've got on hand. You don't have to go out and buy all the fancy things and spend more money. These silicone muffin molds are my go-to for everything. So I will scoop into here, fill these up, put them in the freezer, bring them out and defrost as needed. You might even use ice cubes You might just use little containers, but use what you have. You do not need to go out and buy all of the things. These used to be on the mix shop. I haven't seen them on there. If you are around the Port Lincoln area, I have spotted them in House and Kitchen. So these are my favourite. I hope you learned something today, and I hope your babies and toddlers love all their food that you can easily create with the help of your Thermomix. There you go. You will notice, can you still hear me okay?
Yep. Yep.
So you will also see in that video my camera angles. I could have edited that video, but I just want people to know as well, anybody can do this gig, coming on board, giving consultancy a go. You do not have to know everything. You do not have to have the right camera angles. All we need to do is be able to show just what this Thermomix can do and how it can help in more homes, right?
I
So
love that. And it was so informative too, Morgan. Thank you so much for putting that together for us. I loved that. And you've got all those nutrients in for baby, and it's gently cooked as well. Not ultra processed like they may make commercial food. So thanks for showing us how easy it is to make baby food, but also to be a consultant as well. So that's a good point. We do have some great offers on at the moment, haven't we, for joining as a consultant? But first of all, I'd love to thank Jackie, because I know Jackie you have to go. So we'll thank you for your expertise earlier today. That was fantastic with all those tips. And thank you to Jamie as well. We've got another guest jumped in, Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl. Welcome. We are nearly finished today, so we'll send you the recording for everybody who registered. But I do want to share with you because Morgan, you were touching on, products from the mix shop. So we do have some baby products that we can look at as well that could be helpful. These are the suction plates. They do really suction to your table, and these sippy cups. So that's really exciting. You can have a look at what we've got. But we've also got lots and lots of recipes in our platform. So with Cookie Do, this is the name of our recipe platform. You can type in the word baby or toddler, and you will get lots and lots of recipes pop up for you. And we also have collections, so little collections of recipes or cookbooks for the baby. So I'll just write baby toddler like I did just before. And we get these ones pop up. So depending on if you've got a toddler or a baby, there are some beautiful recipes. So if you don't want to cook manually, we showed you a lot of manual cooking today and some recipes. But if you want to look, if you want that guidance, we have the recipes in here, and you can just press cook today and off you go. So as the lady said, if you would like to see this up close and personal, reach out to your consultant or the person who sent you this recording, and then you can learn some more and see it in action. And that looks delicious. So that's the first foods, and the rice pudding that Jamie made up here. Look at that salt-free veggie stock paste. Amazing. And then with the toddler food, you can create everything you want: chicken bites, zucchini nuggets, and all kinds of things. We've got toddler-friendly granola, and think of your custards as well. I love making custard for my kids, and even I make it even today actually for myself to enjoy because my kids have got bigger too. So just consider that it's a whole package for you, for your babies, for yourself, and for your children as they grow bigger. I've actually popped in a few recipes into today's menu, and I'm not going to make these, but I just wanted to show you that you can meal plan as well. So if you want to have a look in a bit more detail, reach out and we can show you. So you can meal plan, and it will tell you exactly what to do. Scales come up as you need them, and it will look after your food, and if it's heating, it'll turn off, as the ladies have mentioned. So your food is not going to burn. It's a safe way to cook, and it's just makes life so easy. You can add to your shopping list to save time. So it's a whole package there. The Cookie Do app, you can meal plan, find recipes, and create your shopping lists to go shopping with. Lots and lots of ideas in there. We'll just look back at the baby and toddler cookbook. This one, so if you're really wanting to know exactly what's in your food, Thermomix is going to help you with that. And this is one of our favorite books, The Wholefood Child. So this one looks at both the baby food and beyond. So, and also obviously some snacks for us as well, the parents. So yeah, and making mealtime easier for you while you're looking after your young ones can easily whip up some main meals as well. You might be doing baby-led weaning, and you can cook regular food as well. So we got lots and lots of tips for you in there. But before we go, if anybody is wanting to know our current offers, we've got some amazing things up for grabs for you. So if you want to get this Thermomix onto your bench, we do have interest-free, 40 months interest-free. So we can get you more details about that with our Hum Finance. It makes it so affordable. So as you heard, lots of savings from the ladies, our beautiful team leaders, and those savings can pay off your Thermomix each week. Right now, we have our really popular cutter bundle, and Jackie was mentioning to me yesterday. I don't think she's on the call still. No, she had another appointment. But Jackie was mentioning that this is fabulous for grating carrots, grating different vegetables for that toddler, the weaning time where you want your child to be touching different textures. This can really help you with grating and slicing, but also it will help you make your adult food as well. Look at that, 25% off on our mix shop. This one ends on Tuesday, the 19th of May. So you might find some things on special that you like. Becoming a consultant, that was meant to be, this was the one I was looking for to share with you first. If you are a consultant, if you'd like to give it a go, dip your toe in and see what you think, we actually get discount all year round off the mix shop. So there's another little perk that we love. But if you are wanting to get a Thermomix on your bench and maybe it's not quite in the budget, even with that 40 months interest-free offer, you might consider looking at our TM for You program. This is the way I got my Thermomix for free when my kids were little. And that was 15 years ago. So I'd love to share more with you. If you are interested, reach out to the person who sent you this recording, or your consultant that you're in contact with, and they can get that info for you. But you can get a Thermomix with $0 deposit. Imagine that, getting your TM7, rocking up in about 7 days, and your consultant will teach you how to use it and how to make your family food. And then from there, when you show people around you, they're going to naturally want a Thermomix. And when you make 4 sales within our program time, then you get yours Thermomix for free. But even that first sale gets you a massive $650 discount. So consider that as an opportunity that you might want to look into. We can give you further details. It's our best offer. And as you heard Morgan mention, we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to know everything. We just give it a go. And that's what all of us have done, just giving it a go. Now, you could give it a go, host a demo, watch your consultant and with new eyes and think, hey, I could do that too. Host a demo, check it out again, and while you're at it, you could pick yourself up a free thermo server just for showing 2 new people the Thermomix. There's some great reduced prices on our other host rewards too, including the incredible Ovana. You can get other family members helping you make dinner as well with the Thermomix and the Ovana pizza oven. Let your consultant know. These offers end in May. Including this one, the earning program, you do need to sign up by the 25th of May. 3 o'clock. So if you're a little curious, reach out. We'd love to give you more info. But thank you for jumping on today and for watching back our recording for those that couldn't make it live. But thanks, Jamie.
Yes, I'm just going to show quickly the finished off rice stuff.
Yeah.
So, and this is
Oh.
our mix shop spoon, comes in our lunch boxes, but it's perfect baby spoon, but amazing, perfect consistency. You could water it down with more breast milk if you needed to, and a Play-Doh. So
I
all
love
these little
that.
things.
Oh, with the love hearts.
Yeah, that's the only cutters I could find.
Nah, perfect. Thanks so much, Jamie,
My
for
pleasure.
walking us through that. And thank you so much, Morgan, for your incredible share as well. And we look forward to seeing you guys at one of our future events. We have our link tree with all our future events, and we'll send that to you as well. Anything else, ladies? That's it.
That's it.
And good luck with your journey as a parent. We know it's not easy, and we're here for you. And the community is awesome, whether you join as a customer or a consultant. It's fun to be together and not alone. So we'll
We all
see you
need a
guys.
village.
Does take the village.
That's it. That's
And
it.
the Thermomix village is like nothing else. It's even better.
Exactly. Hopefully, we'll see you guys soon.